Yeah, we gotta get it done before, and they're probably not gonna get the, from what I understand, get the census done until July. It's got to be July till October. To get the, how are you? Good.
Meeting on Monday, I'm gonna send you a link. Yeah, you have the agendas in on Wednesday. If you wanna send me a copy, I'll make sure our link is good.
Okay, good.
All right? Anytime you come here, I take it. Okay, can't.
Yeah.
What's that? Okay, let's get started.
No, I don't.
Please enter conference ID and then press pound.
Okay, it is Monday, February 8th, 2021, 9 a.m. Wilson County Commissioners Court is now in session. We'll have the opening prayer by Judge Jim Burdett, the former chaplain of Breakham Masonic Lodge of Laverne.
Dear Lord, first we'd like to tell you that we love you and that we reverently invoke thy blessings at this time. We hope thou be pleased to grant that this meeting, thus begun in order, be conducted in peace and closed in harmony. Be with these leaders as they conduct the business of this county and lead and guide them in the order that they might have their decisions that will be blessings in your sight. We ask that you bless and protect our first responders, our law enforcement officers, and our men and women in the military forces in order that they may come home to their loved ones after their tours of duty. Finally, Lord, we ask that you deliver this world from this killer pandemic that has taken so many loved ones from their families, and be with those families and those health professionals that are battling this horrible disease. All this, Lord, we ask in your Son's holy name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the
Flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay, moving right along to agenda item number 3, public comments.
I have one right here, Judge.
Okay. You want to wait until we get to that agenda item where we introduce Samantha and all that? Okay, we're going to do a public comment when we get to that agenda item. We're going to agenda item number 4, certificates of completion and awards.
I have put it right on the corner.
Yes. Certificate of completion, the V.G. Young Institute of County Government awards this certificate to Gary Martin for successfully completing 20 and a half hours of Educational Training 2021 seminar for newly elected county judges and commissioners of College Station, January 12th through the 15th, 2021. Okay, certificate of completion, Rosalinda Soto has successfully completed TAC Cybersecurity Awareness Training 2021 certified on this day, January the 28th, 2021. We hereby certify that Larry Wiley successfully completed 16 hours continuing education during the West Texas Rural Counties Association Virtual 2020 Professional Education Conference held December 9th and 10th. Okay, certificate of completion, this is to acknowledge that Layton York has been awarded the basic certification. What certification is it?
For the 3CX
Okay,
phone system.
awarded February the 4th, 2021. Okay, that's all of that. Any more? Do we have any extension activity handouts?
Yes, we do, Judge. There is one from Ms. Nicole and one from Brooke.
And after today, there will be 3. Gosh, y'all are still working even with the pandemic.
Yes, sir.
Oh, and before I forget, for the record, Commissioner Wiley, Precinct 4, is absent. Anybody have any questions or comments? Thank y'all, keep up the good work. Okay. Now, this is yours. This is agenda item number 6, Richard L. Jackson County Judge Michael Haynes, District Extension Administrator, Texas A&M Agri-Life Extension District Administrator. 6A, discuss and take action on Texas A&M Agri-Life Extension recommendation and request for court action in filling the county extension agent ANR position in Wilson County with Agriculture and Natural Resources. What that stands for?
Ag and Natural Resources, yes, sir.
Okay. Michael Haynes.
Thank you, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Wilson County. And very excited to be here. I think it's now been about a year since our last ag agent has departed, and we've had the dynamic duo here, keeping everything more than afloat during a pandemic year, and so we are very excited and thankful to have both Courtney and Nicole who have been keeping everything going here in Wilson County. Not only have they maintained the ship, but they've kept Wilson County where she belongs as one of the crown jewels of the district. Today, I'm very excited that after we were able to break our hiring freeze and begin moving everything again, to introduce our finalists for the position of Ag and Natural Resource Agent. And our finalist is Samantha Kruzekwa. She has been with Extension since 2016, where she has served in Uvalde County as Ag and Natural Resource Agent there, doing a host of programming from animal science to horticulture to farm trailer law, which is one of the better programs I've attended in quite some time, because I've learned I was wrong on 80% of the questions they quizzed us on. She is currently the president of the Texas Ag Women's Association. She's a graduate from Texas A&M University with a bachelor's degree in horticulture and a master's from Texas A&M University Kingsville in Ag Science. So we're excited to introduce her today for court approval. So, Ms. Shannon?
Okay.
My apologies.
Samantha Shannon now?
I was gonna
It
say.
is, my apologies. I've gotten so used to saying that over years, and I'm
Everyone
still
knows
not
how to
good at
say
it.
it, and now
I
I
know.
know. So yes, I'll go by both. But it's Samantha Shannon. Good morning, everyone. I'm excited, so. let's see what we can do.
William, any
You will be
questions?
busy.
I'm ready. I'm ready. So,
Okay, this one is an action item.
I'll make a
To do
motion,
our part to hire Samantha.
I'll make a motion to hire Samantha Shannon as our new A&R extension agent.
Motion by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Fowle. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Well, there is none. Nobody voted for it. Congratulations, you're new. Now, let's go to 6B, introduce Samantha Shannon as the new A&R extension agent.
Well, we're very excited to have her with us. We'll be looking for a start date, March the 1st, to go ahead and begin our process. So we will coordinate with the county HR here to make sure that everything is done on our end. So, any other comments or?
I'm ready to go, so we'll see what happens March 1st, and I'm real excited to keep, give these two more, support and,
Yeah, we don't know anything about weeds.
yeah. I got you
We've got
back.
lots of questions.
So it'll be good. I'm very excited, so thank y'all for this opportunity.
One thing about Samantha, she was born and raised in downtown Den Haag and went to school in Pope.
Yes. Yes.
So she is local.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome to Wilson, or welcome back.
Welcome back, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited to do that.
Giggle.
Thank y'all.
Thank you, Judge, and we'll go ahead and we're gonna get back to work, so.
Okay. Okay.
Thank y'all.
Okay, moving on to agenda item number 7, Gary Martin, Commissioner Precinct 1, discussing take action on allowing county employees to volunteer to work with Wilson County sponsored SA Food Bank and food distribution at Wilson County Expo and Community Center for the fiscal year 2021. Employees will be compensated.
Yeah, thank you, Judge. As we have in the past, we've allowed the county employees to volunteer on a paid basis. The number of food bank distributions we're going to have is kind of unsure, so instead of having to approve this every time we have one, thought it was appropriate to just approve it one time for the remainder of the fiscal year, and we can revisit it each year at the food bank. And I know Mario is here from the food bank if you guys
Yeah.
have any questions. So
I'd like to introduce Mario Blado. He is our representative to the food bank. He's been here every time that we've had it, and he's the one that keeps on it. If you got something to say?
Well, thank you. Good morning, Judge, Commissioners. Honored to be here to say a few words with respect to this agenda item. First and foremost, on behalf of Eric Cooper, our President and CEO, thank you for all the leadership that you provide to the citizens of Wilson County, and certainly during this pandemic. It's been incredible the support y'all have given us. For the record, my name is Mario Blado Jr., Chief of Government and Public Affairs at your San Antonio Food Bank. And, just wanted to touch on what we've been seeing and experiencing during this time. As you all know, we're one of 200 food banks across the country, part of Feeding America. That's the country's safety net. And in our great state of Texas, we're one of 21 food banks. We're part of Feeding Texas. And so all 254 counties are covered by a food bank service territory, and we cover 16 counties in southwest Texas. And we cover your county, and we're very honored to do so. Since the pandemic started nearly a year ago, we've been seeing the country's safety net stretched thin, but we're still intact and we're holding. And because of folks like Wilson County, local government here, helping us to be able to nourish the folks that are in need. Right now, there's over 50 million Americans struggling to put food on the table, 1 in 4 kids. Pre-pandemic, we were assisting nearly 58,000 individuals in any given week in terms of emergency food assistance. And so charitable organizations across the country have seen their numbers double, ours double. Now we're assisting over 120,000 individuals in any given week because of this pandemic. Folks are struggling to make ends meet. They've lost a job, maybe a mom and dad, a single mother, and they're trying to take care of that household. And so with y'all's help, we've been able to do that. Back in March of last year, pretty much, local government here, the city and the county stepped up to host these food distributions here in your community. And we do partner with about 530 nonprofit organizations pre-pandemic in order to get our food and resources out to their clients, our clients, one and the same. So here in Wilson County, in Stockdale and Poe, in Livernia, elsewhere, our partner agencies, their capacity has been down. So they have been out helping us at these distributions. I do want to recognize Genevieve Judge, as we all know, works for the county as your assistant court coordinator here or court clerk here for Wilson County, and Genevieve has been outstanding. I can't say enough about all the work that she has put into coordinating the county distributions. And the county distributions are at the show barn, as we know, off 97. And from getting volunteers coordinated and scheduled to scheduling the distribution itself, everything that goes into that to make sure that the volunteers are safe when it comes to sanitation, masks, gloves, and everything that goes into that distribution. And so I'm very honored to be able to work with her and work with y'all during this time in order to nourish your citizens here in the county. And so whatever we can do, we're going to do it. We'll be here to serve and to help set the table for the citizens of this great county.
Thank you.
Mario, do you know when the next date or plan, y'all have a plan on next time?
First week of March, it's March 3rd, I believe.
March 3rd?
Yes. And Judge, and Commissioners, and y'all have been out volunteering, been there on the front lines and seen what you've been doing. There could be the opportunity that the county potentially could start taking over the distributions each month. You know, the city's been involved, and they've provided some great distribution support out at the Civic Center off 97. But at the same time, the county, with the bandwidth that y'all have, the support that you have, it could potentially be looked at to see if y'all would entertain taking those over monthly. We don't know how long this will go on for because of the pandemic and just the situation with the crisis, but at some point we're going to pivot back to our partner agencies for them to go ahead and shepherd the load and get that on. So.
Well, that's not, thank you for mentioning that. That's not another agenda item. One thing on the agenda is to compensate the employee. We'll approach that.
Yes, sir.
When you have some more information.
Next time. Okay.
So Judge, I'll make a motion to approve the county employees to volunteer for Wilson County sponsored food bank distributions with compensation for the
Okay, so
remainder of
motion
the
by
fiscal year.
Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Fowle. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? So that's the motion carries. Okay, thank you, Mike.
Thank you very much. Thank you for all the support that all the
Thank
county
you.
employees give.
Okay, moving along to agenda item number 8, Wichita Jackson County Judge discussing take action on the lease of 1 acre of land to Bank Brothers for consideration of parking on their property. This is a kind of will help us out and also will help out the Bainbirds. Bainbirds bought 9 acres next to the Expo Center. They allow us to use it for parking. This 1 acre of land will give them a total of 10 acres where they can get agricultural exemptions, cut hay off of it. And it will help them on their tax roll, and it will help us for as much needed parking at the events we have there. More especially like it's a county show. 'Cause there's always lots, except for this year, but there's usually lots of traffic out there, and that is a big help.
Judge, I make a motion that we approve leasing the 1 acre to the bank. Same for the parking lot.
Motion by Commissioner Fowle, second by Commissioner Verdola. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
I think, yeah.
Oh, you have?
Well, I
No, I was just
have
gonna say, are they, we're leasing them 1 acre.
Yes.
Are they gonna pay us for that 1 acre?
We're leasing it for consideration of parking on their
Okay,
time.
okay, gotcha.
Oh,
You
okay,
make a
that's what I was
contract?
gonna ask.
Yeah.
It was- Okay, that's what I was gonna ask. I wasn't sure if there was an agreement, a payment or something
It's
that we need.
for consideration of parking.
Okay, good. Got it.
Any more questions? Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, so that carries. County Judge Dan Cunningham, Wilson County ESD number 2, Louis T. Rosenberg, Attorney at Law, discuss and take action on Chapter 775 Health and Safety Code procedures for establishing Wilson County ESD number 6 as an overlay district on top of Wilson County ESD number 2 territory for the purpose of providing fire protection only. And I don't know, Lynn or Mr. Rosenberg, either one.
Your Honor, Commissioners, thank you for putting this on the agenda. This is where I really miss Larry Phillips, because he enjoyed getting up and talking to you. I'm also going to get seated again. But right now, Wilson County ESD 2 is the only entity in the county that's providing both fire and EMS in their area. Most other areas are covered by ESDs 4 and 5 or 1 and 3. And quite frankly, we cannot afford to do quality care with the amount of money we can get in that way. I've given you all some of the staffing levels are too low to actually provide safe coverage in the fire. They have what they call a 2 in, 2 out rule. And we can afford right now to have 2 people at each station paid and fire chief. And that's it, 24 hours. You know, everybody relies on mutual aid. And we do too, but with the distances in the counties and how spread out the subdivisions are, that aid comes slowly. Our pay levels are on the low end of the spectrum now. And then, while we've got some very good professional firefighters, all our paid staff is via Texas Commission on Fire Protection certified. They're all dual. CMTs are paramedics as well. We don't want to lose them, and we can't really afford to give them the raises they deserve. Our equipment's getting old, and the Texas Commission has rules on how old that equipment can be. We need to be replacing our frontline engine shops, move it down as a reserve. We need to replace all of our LCBAs. We've got a lot of costs that we have to absorb coming up. Quite frankly, on what we've got right now, we're just barely making it. Our reserve funds have pretty much disappeared every year over what we budgeted. And the auditors are not happy with that. I'm hoping with the overlay district, which has been done in Travis County and several places, and in other areas in the state, we can combine the resources to provide quality care for people in our area. You don't have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I have a comment. I'm surprised, and I know that it was straining because y'all are operating both EMS and fire. What everybody else is operating one, either EMS or fire. I hope that this can happen. We have everything here. They got the petition. They got 125 or more good signatures on here.
We're getting signatures. We have probably way less than 5% of the population who did not want to join on the petition. So I think the area itself is saying that they would welcome a better protection.
Judge, what would happen, they have to take it to the voters to get it
Yes.
Yes,
taken away?
right.
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
remove
to
the fire.
switch to
No,
add
it's
the
just as
ESD 6
adds
right
an
on top of
ESD
ours.
6 in the same area that ESD 2 is now.
And 2 would become a EMS only, and 6 would become 5. But we'd be able to share resources, stations, etc.
And they can get by with still one board.
Yes.
What is the advantage?
The advantage is primarily doubling the ad valorem tax. we can have a ESD that covers both, but you only get paid for one. And right now, medical and fire resources are being strained because, say, you have ESD one over in the Brenda area, then it's strictly fire. ESD three is strictly EMS. And so there's, one's buying fire equipment, the other one's buying the equipment, we're buying both. And none of these are money makers. I mean,
Judge, Commissioners, real quick if I may. Just so you know, a little bit better address Commissioner Ball's comment. So at no point in time is ESD two gonna be disbanded to where it's gonna go and then we're gonna recreate. Basically, we're just, as he's stating, ESD six, it is what it sounds, it is overlay. It's just gonna go directly right on top of ESD two, and at the time of establishment, then we will do the proper paperwork and filings, and then to show ESD two is the EMS entity, and then ESD six is the fire entity. And then really just to sum it up, really all that we're asking for is to be in the same standing as all the other fire and EMS entities in the county that are under ESD. And this is what's gonna greatly help us. I think we were a little bit taken back whenever Glenn and then Larry and myself originally met with the judge, and his initial reaction was that he was surprised it had taken us this long to even to bring the subject up, and that we made survival this long on these levels of funding. So we have really good staff, as Glenn was stating. The guys that have been there are the same guys that have been there since I first came into the chief's position, and we're approaching a little over 3 years now. They've stuck by me very, very loyally, but Glenn's right, we don't pay them appropriately, not competitively to what other agencies are paying, and we're fortunate enough to have a paramedic that on every single ambulance that goes out to make sure that our people are getting the appropriate care. But that's built strictly, I mean, they're there because of loyalty and love for the job. It's certainly not because of money, but which we know fire and EMS as a whole, traditionally, I mean, you're not there to make money, you're there because you're passionate about, but it would be nice to be able to properly compensate them. And as Glenn was stating, probably on one hand could count the people who actually said no to signing the petition. And it wasn't even an ugly manner whatsoever. It was more along the lines of, hey, I want to do a little bit more research before I sign on to this. So we had overwhelming support. I think all in all, we turned in just, I think close to under 200 signatures at the end of the day. I think once the verifications process was finished and those that were homeowners and everything like that, property owners, we came down to the final number, I think somewhere around 125. But still, we had overwhelming support every time that we talk to the community, and they want to see it, and we have a good relationship with them. So, and then we're asking for y'all's support on this as well.
thank you, Chief, for coming to my rescue.
So, and I'll make a comment here too. I attended their last board meeting where they took action on this to bring it to court. I think we need to do this to help them, and they're doing a good job. And I guess my question is what action do we really need to take at this point? Do we need, is it approving their application, or, I mean, I know what's on the agenda, but I'm not sure is that what we're doing right now?
Okay, so y'all are asking for an election, correct?
Yes, yeah, we can get on May ballot.
Yep, the answer is call the election, please. And that was the whole reason behind having your elections administrator go through the petition and make sure that the property owners and the voter registrations measure up to the required 100.
Mr. Rosenberg?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have an order for the judge to sign calling for the election?
We will have, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Okay, then I'll make a motion to call for an election to establish the Wilson County Emergency Services District 6 as an overlay district on top of Wilson County ESD number 2 for the purposes of providing fire protection only.
Got a motion by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Fowle. Do we have any more discussion?
I will get the order over to Ms. Chapman.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so
Please
we
do
have an
so.
election. I guess it will be in May.
That's correct. And here's the picture of the overlay. It's on your handout.
Okay. Moving right along. Well, Mr. Rosenberg, just holler if Ms. Chapman or myself get it over here.
Okay.
We can get it turned into, or signed and turned into county clerk.
All right. Thank you very much for hearing us.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Agenda item 10, Gary Martin, Commissioner Precinct 1, discuss and take action on appointing a committee to, A, review the FirstNet communication system. And I'm going to go ahead and read B, and B, develop a policy for county cell phones. The proposed committee is Gary Martin, Jeffrey Cordola, Brenda Trevino, and Jalen Botter.
Thank you, Judge. You know, Commissioner Hayek last year brought this up. I've taken the opportunity to review the FirstNet communication system, and I believe it'd be beneficial to the county. I have actually used that service for my county cell phone. And since there are many issues surrounding this and the fact that we don't have a policy on cell phones, I would propose that that committee also look at, review, and establish a cell phone policy for the county. And Mr. Vino is recommended to be on the committee because obviously it involves expenditure of county funds, and it looks like we can get a cost savings on FirstNet. And Ms. Bodford is critical to the committee also because there are probably some personnel impacts to this depending on how this is set up. So we want to make sure that we don't, or that we do it properly.
And this is county-owned cell phones,
Yes, ma'am, they would be.
not personal cell phones used for county purposes.
Right.
It's the first, okay.
And that's the whole purpose of the policy is to look at who should have a phone, who would be entitled to a stipend and that sort of thing.
Yes.
As the sheriff, they use FirstNet, and so we do have an account with FirstNet at this time, but it's under very limited use, and we just think it would be more beneficial to get that more widespread. The primary benefit is in the event of an emergency, FirstNet cell phone users have priority calling. In other words, if we need to make a call, that call will go through. It'll bump somebody else off if there's too much activity on the cell phones. And so that provides us better communications. And, I mean, everybody says, well, you got radios. Well, that's true, but if there's a problem with the radios or it takes the tower out or what have you, they also provide temporary towers if there's a natural disaster. So there's a lot to it.
Okay, you mentioned something about it'll bump you off if there's lots of activity.
Yes, so if you do not have FirstNet service, or if you have FirstNet service, and let's say I need to call the sheriff, I'm a priority call. If the telephone network is saturated, it will kick somebody off so that my phone call will go through to them. Or vice versa, if somebody's calling me,
If I'm on First, here's what I'm getting, if I'm on FirstNet and I'm talking to somebody, and sometimes I talk a lengthy time.
your call will stay on.
Okay, but will it bump that call off?
No, it'll bump somebody that's not on FirstNet.
AT&T or regular service.
Yeah, somebody that's not on this, remember this service was set up by the federal government in 1991. And so basically, you know, what happened in New York was everybody was on their phones and responders couldn't communicate very well, and, you know, it was a chaotic scene. And so this cell phone service provides priority use to the members of FirstNet
Okay,
and the users of
and
FirstNet.
it's AT&T.
It's through AT&T. Yes, they're the ones with the government contract.
Okay.
Basically, you wouldn't have to have another phone, or you wouldn't have.
No, you can, I mean, it's, all the cell phone rules apply. If you have a cell phone right now and you want to change the FirstNet service, you can do that and have the same number.
But that becomes county property.
Yeah, there, and that's.
So I just for clarification, we're not deciding today to move toward FirstNet. I think what Commissioner Martin is doing is requesting for us to establish the committee to research it and then come back to the court with a recommendation one way or the other.
Absolutely.
Because I don't have any of the information, other than what Commissioner Martin gave to me, so. in
Yeah,
terms of
so the
dollars.
purpose of this is just to establish a committee to look at these two items. So with that said, I'll make a motion to appoint the committee of myself, Commissioner Perdola, Brenda Covino, County Auditor, and Jalen Botifer, County HR Specialist, to review the FirstNet communication system and develop a policy for county cell phones.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Perdola. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So this motion carries.
And then, Judge, Commissioner, if I may, I have quite a bit of experience with FirstNet. We use it as a department, so I just want to offer myself, if y'all have any questions or need any assistance with anything, I'm happy to do so.
Thank you. We'll be around talking to probably all the department heads and other folks.
Thank you. Okay, down to business now. In item 11, Leon Hosek, DMC 11A, naming a private lane in precinct 4, Corral Lane. Review and approve. Where is this? On the banks of the Plato Creek?
I think it's County Road 434.
Yep, that's
In there somewhere.
yeah. This,
So this is a family tract of land that they are splitting up, and it's an old easement. And it goes pretty far back, 3,700 feet, almost 3,800 feet, so like 7/10 of a mile. So that's when we recommend getting it a private road name, so that the tracks would be addressed off of it. They'd be,
how wide is it?
I thought it was 30 feet. I think it's 30 feet.
Yeah, 30 feet. It's dimension 3 in the table there on the left. And this will be a private lane, so it's not
Correct.
to be maintained by the county.
It is a private lane.
Would you use it to, that to do 911 addressing?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, it's there it is, it's 30-foot wide access easement.
These stronger glasses.
What's that?
These stronger glasses.
No.
But we all,
I just need to be able to find it. I can read, but I can't read right. Where it is, so. Okay. Commissioner Wiley's not here to make the motion.
I'll make a motion, Judge.
Motion by Commissioner File, second by Commissioner Perdola, that we name this Corral Lane. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, so we've got Corral Lane now. Okay, moving right along to 11B, utility permits, 11B1, permit number 631, Southern Springs Water Supply Corporation, Precinct 4, Wood Valley Drive, review and approve. And I'm gonna go all the way to permit number, 11B3, which is permit number 633, Southern Springs Water Supply Corporation, Precinct 4, Wood Valley Drive, review and approve. We both opposed, because they're in the same precinct.
Larry has reviewed them and signed off on them.
Motion to approve the permits in precinct 4.
Motion by Commissioner Perdola, second by Commissioner Martin. We look at it both coming out of their water, the plant. Is there any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. So we've got those two permits. Now we're going to 11B2, permit number 632, Southern Springs Water Supply Corporation, Precinct 3, Champions Boulevard, review and approve.
I have not had a chance to review this one.
Okay, this is where they're doing the interconnect. Is that correct?
That's what this one is.
That's what it looks like to me, where Southern Springs Water Supply Corporation is connecting to Lake Valley Water Supply Corporation.
So would FS be providing them water now?
Yes. They will be able to supply them water. When they do the interconnect, it's been deemed to have been done for years and years and years.
So what happens if the Lake Valley water thing going away?
It's not, it's
I know they have
hopefully,
lots of
keep our
trouble.
fingers crossed, it will be bought out by Southern Springs. Or they will merge or do some part of merger or buyout or something.
I know it's been a terrible
It's
problem
been a
out there.
Big problem. Finally, TCEQ did something over a year ago and put Don Rosshuber and his company in charge of it, and they at least got these people a little more consistency.
It was so bad, my brother drilled a water well,
Yes.
because they were constantly out of water, had boiled water.
Yes, it was terrible. And now they're either gonna drill a well or take action to, with Southern Springs Water Supply Corporation. But this will end all of the water outages. I say end them, they will,
At least they'll have some way to.
they'll
get
have
water.
some way to get water as long as it's go, if something happens, the well goes down or whatever, which
Does quite frequently.
it does, and they, like I said, Don Rosshuber, his company, they did a great job of fixing it up, but still, they're dealing with old well and old equipment, stuff like that, with this one.
I make a motion that we approve this permit to allow SS Water to tie on to the existing system. See if they can get that fixed.
Yes. Motion by Commissioner Perdola, second by Commissioner File. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. So we got water. Okay, now. Okay, we're going to 11C, Subdivision Cibolo Ridge, Unit 2, discuss and take action on release of letter of credit.
In this particular unit of Cibolo Ridge, they did not have any road construction. They just had detention pond construction, and that was completed, over a year ago, inspected, no problems, and they're just required to have an additional year, to cover, the financial guarantee is required to be for an additional year, kind of like a warranty period. And that time period is coming up this week.
How did they do it with no road construction? If this is a,
The lot, the way it was designed, see, if you remember Cibolo Unit 1, that was before they purchased that additional property. And so
Yes.
all the lots were off one side of the road. And then they were able to purchase that additional, the adjoining property. And so then Unit 2 was lots on the opposite side of the road. So they didn't have to build a road, the road was already there, but they did have to
okay,
construct.
because I remember right, we
detention
had
ponds.
the road, lots were on this side, then they had the bar ditch, and they had like 1 foot.
Right, and they
Oh.
had to do a replat, to
Yes.
vacate and replat to get rid of that 1 foot non-access easement, so that they could plat those additional lots in Unit 2.
I have a question. Has the county accepted that main road, Cibolo Ridge?
Yes, because that was Unit 1, yes, that one's already been accepted.
That's not good. I understand that they slung out grass seed and it was got all over the road and that grass seed sprouted and grew through the asphalt. Now we've got whatever grass seed they threw out over there is growing up through the asphalt.
It was great. I've never, that's,
It's definitely deteriorating the asphalt because it's growing through it and stuff.
we've already accepted it, so we're trying to.
I was
Yeah,
out
we
there,
have already
I was out there
accepted
with
it, yeah.
Commissioner Hayek one day when they were doing the testing on some of the roads on the right. And they had a fertilizer truck out there, they slung fertilizer and grass seed out, and it was all over the road. And then it got a little rain on it or something, and it sprouted, it's growing through the road.
And the development and the fertilizer and grass people come out, they need to fix it then.
Jerry Brewski, who was the contractor, he was there, I was there myself, Commissioner Hayek was there, the day that that was
And
done.
they admitted it, that they had done that?
They haven't admitted it, but it's an issue. Because it's gonna deteriorate
Yeah.
the road, you know, going through the asphalt,
It's
blowing the
there.
asphalt up. And then every time it rains, the water's gonna go down.
Visually,
Yeah.
yes. They have visually.
I don't know
What kind of, what seed was it, ryegrass or?
I do not know, Judge. I just happened to be there the day that Brewski was out there slinging it out. Mr. Hayek and I were out there for some road tests. They were out there doing a density test on the roads on the right. And I guess they were putting this grass seed in the borders. They just slung it out all over everywhere.
They put it in the bar ditch, was that Jerry Brewski doing that?
Yes, Jerry had hired Brewski's shoe store.
Maybe we need to talk to Jerry about
Something.
We can talk to the
He's the one that
developer,
did it.
this is the developer's responsibility. Yeah.
Jerry works
That's
hard
working
for
on the
the
developer,
developer.
yes.
I don't want us to get stuck with a road that, you know, year and a half falls apart, and then everybody's jumping up and down, wanting the county to go in there and repave the road that's less than 2 years old. That's my thing. Take care of it, Tom. I think so. Okay. I'll check into that and keep it up close to that. I haven't gotten out there to look at it.
Yeah.
But I will this week, get over there.
This is C, releasing the letter of credit.
Oh, okay.
And this was just on the,
This is just on the detention pond, detention
Yes,
pond?
uh-huh.
There was something to do with the road.
yeah, that's why I wanted to clarify that, it was to do with the road and release it.
So they haven't paid those roads yet. I don't remember if they,
I haven't been out there, they were, like I said, Commissioner Hayek and I were out there right before, they
sometime in December. And those roads weren't paved at that time, now they may be by now, I don't know.
So now's the time to look at that development and make sure.
I just don't want the county to get stuck in the road and fall
Yeah,
apart.
we're not gonna
Year and a
accept the
half.
road.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but if we've already accepted it, I don't know how much left.
In unit, well, not in unit 3.
This is the main road going in Civil Ridge.
Oh, okay, the very first.
The very first.
Now,
No, that one we would have.
They were working on that next section,
Uh-huh.
and when they did slow the seed out the party, they slowed it all over the main road. In section 1. I make a motion that we go ahead and release the letter of credit if it is strictly on the detention ponds and not the road.
Motion by Commissioner Cordova,
Second.
second by, by Commissioner Martin. That we release the letter of credit on Unit 2 of Civil Ridge. Is there any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, this motion is approved. Thank you. Okay, moving along to agenda, item number 12, Edward Baker, Health and Public Safety. Discuss and approve lifting the burn ban.
Yeah, we've been we issued over 200 permits since the first of the year, which is usually what we do in a year. So request, and that doesn't tell you how many we've turned down because of windy days and what have you. And it's getting to a point we haven't had any problems with it. We got some green coming up in some areas. I've been to a couple, one of them was out at Cibolo Ridge last week. I was out there looking, and they still have some pretty dry areas out there, but the winter weeds and the clover are coming up. Now, that was put on there before I knew what was gonna happen at the end of this week. So, and it expires in a couple of weeks anyway. It expires around the 20th, 22nd, something like that. So we can either just leave this alone and let it expire and continue doing permits, or the problem is if I'm not doing permits, then it's not a ticketable offense if you do something. You know, if you burn, if we're letting people burn without a permit, there's really nothing you can do to them. If we're issuing permits, which I was till 6:30 Friday night issuing permits for the weekend because we had so many calls coming in. And we kind of, you know, whenever it gets real busy like that, we kind of wait and kind of let most of the calls die down before we stop. And that's pretty much where it's at. It's up to y'all whether we lift it or not. We haven't had any issues with any large wildland fires at all. Most of the complaints I get are people burning without a permit and smoking up the neighborhoods, which there's nothing I can do about. I know there have been some tickets issued. The only ones I know about are the 2 that I was standing there when they were issued. But other than that, you know, that's pretty much where we're at with it. But as far as big fires or fires that are unmanageable by usually one department, it hadn't happened much, if at all, in the last, since the first of the year. So, you know, I kind of wanted y'all's input on what y'all thought. You know your area better than I do.
Well, I do know we have a lot of people burning without permits.
Oh, yeah, Gary and I were out looking at a road, or what was gonna be a road someday, and we could see the little smoke deal, and I was like, he has to have permits, I told him. You know, it's just overwhelming, and the deputies don't have time to run around and do nothing but check on illegal burns. I know they get the calls, but, you know. And at some point, the burn ban becomes a burden on the county services, and it's not really benefiting anybody. And that, we're getting close to that now.
Well, the way you prefaced that a minute ago, so is your recommendation to leave it in place for 2 more weeks?
I would, because of what's about to happen. Now, the land clears, we've been allowing them to burn even on windy days because, you know, it's mostly dirt around them. And we haven't had any issues with it. And I told them, first time we have issues, I'm shutting that off. But we haven't had any issues. So I've been allowing them, you know, permitting their burns. And one of the reasons for that is they need to get this done and burnt so they can disc their fields, so they can either plant or allow whatever, sprig it or whatever they're gonna do. And this time of the year gets it's kind of back and forth on are we hampering them from doing their job, or are we helping the public by not allowing them to burn down the countryside?
Well, usually those guys have got dozers and big equipment there that will clear the land.
Yeah, and right now, I think most of them are into burning the roots. Because I got 3 calls this morning and they wanted to burn roots, which means they're down to dirt and they've got their big piles gone, and I told them burn them. We issued them permits, told them burn them.
I think what it is, need to lay it out,
Let it expire.
So your agricultural burns, for grass or something like that, those would still require a permit during the burn ban?
We either permit or we don't. It's one or the other, yeah. The main purpose of the burn ban, as I've always seen it, is to keep the subdivisions from burning each other out. That's what it's for. It's not necessarily for the ag guys, but if I don't issue them a permit and somebody calls it in and the deputy shows up, they call dispatch and go, do they have a permit? No, they don't. They can write them a ticket, so I have to issue them a permit.
I got an email Saturday from you about somebody in the smokehouse gonna be smoking.
Yeah, that was a guy who's smoking meat.
Did you get any big samples?
That's what I was thinking, I saw that too.
Well, here's the reason for that. In the past, the fire department got called, and whenever he smokes, he usually starts on Wednesday, but he called me and said he wasn't gonna start until the weekend. Well, in the past, when it's smoking at night, there's smoke everywhere, the neighbors call the fire department shows up and says, you can't be burning at night. He said, I'm not burning, I'm smoking meat. And there's a big argument there back and forth between him and the fire department. And so I did that for the purpose of maybe preventing that issue.
Well, if he's smoking meat, is it in a closed building?
Well, it's either in a smoker or a closed building.
Smokehouse or something?
Yeah, yeah. Not everybody has the buildings, now they have these smokers,
Right,
box smokers.
right. I just thought we had some samples this morning.
Hmm?
I just thought we might have some samples this morning to see.
No, he does 600 pounds of meat, is what he told me.
Dang, that's a lot of meat.
Yeah.
That's a jerky. Yeah. How does it work with a burn barrel?
A burn barrel, we do not permit burn barrels from weed. They're exempt from it because we do not furnish garbage collection, and we be in the county. Yeah, they can call a private company and all that, and over the years, we've debated that issue. Well, we let them call a company and get, if they want to, but pretty much what the state has said is household trash can be burned in a barrel with a screen during daylight hours, as long as somebody's there with it and they have a means of controlling it. Unfortunately, not everybody does that. A lot of people think a pit's the safest way to burn, and it's really one of the most dangerous ways to burn, because it's less control. And the good part about it is, you can cover up your ashes. And you can also bury up to 2,000 pounds of trash on your property every year. Household trash.
Don't be saying that.
How big a property do you have to have?
It doesn't really get into that. I've never dug down into that rule because I really don't tell people that. Except for the ones that have.
I'm kind of like Commissioner Fall. If it's going to run out in 2 weeks, let's just let it expire.
Okay.
I make a motion that we just let this burn ban expire on its term.
Work for me.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Perdola, second by Commissioner Martin. We just leave the burn ban in effect till it expires.
Yeah, that's 2 weeks.
Well, we put the burn ban it went into effect November the 23rd, so it's 90 days after that. And I have to sit down and count the days.
So
But it's going to be around the 20th, 22nd, something like that.
It'll be after this cold spell that's coming.
Yeah, it'd be after the cold front that comes through, and just to let y'all know what I'm seeing on the wind speeds right now, I'm still gonna be allowing the land clears to burn during it.
Okay. Is there any more discussion on this? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving right along to agenda item 13, Eva S. Martinez, County Clerk minutes. We have minutes here.
Yes, sir, I've handed those out, and Ms. Catherine has reviewed them, so has the judge.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Commissioner Martin, second by Commissioner Cordova. If we approve the minutes, is there any questions, additions, deletions, corrections? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the minutes. Okay, moving right along to agenda item 14, Jan Harlow County Treasurer Financial Report. Jan's not here, so we're moving on to agenda item number 15. Jalen T. Potiphar, Human Resource General Specialist, payroll and personnel changes.
Alicia Castro was hired as a part-time tax customer service specialist for the tax office, making $12.98 per hour effective February 3rd. Ashley Spears resigned from her position in the corrections officer on February 5th. Zachary Stevens was terminated from his position as the corrections officer on February 5th. And Raimundo Luna was terminated from his position as a road hand for precinct 1 on February 2nd. That's it.
Short to the point. No line item changes or anything, so that's just informational. Thank you. Okay, here we go. Agenda item number 16, Brenda Trevino, County Auditor, bills
Yes,
report.
yes, and I have a financial report as well. You have yours. This is a report of an audit of the Wilson County Treasurer's Office safe contents, which I've given to Eva for recording. And I won't read through the whole thing, I'll just read the cover sheet. This enclosed report presents results of an audit over the Wilson County Treasurer's Office, specifically the contents of the vault safe where monies are stored. This audit was prompted after the Wilson County Auditor was notified that the state tax interest and sinking bank account ending in 782 was overdrawn by $22,331.32. In addition, the auditor was notified that there were checks in large amounts from the Wilson County tax assessor which had not been deposited in the Wilson County General Fund bank account ending in 046. The audit was designed with two objectives. The first objective was to determine if there were undeposited funds in the safe or in the treasurer's office for these specific bank accounts. And the second objective was to determine if the county auditor needed to conduct immediate action to relieve the county of any financial hardships. A copy of this report has been given to Jan Ruddle, Wilson County Treasurer, and Tom Caldwell, Wilson County Attorney. And it was also emailed to Commissioner Larry Wiley, who's not in attendance. There's no action for this report. It's for your information purposes and filed with our county clerk. I've also presented to you the bills for this go-round. The total is $166,342.38. Nothing out of the ordinary and not a whole lot of spending, so that's good.
Attention?
Needs some attention, yeah.
On the ink?
Yeah. Also, just for your reference, in case there are any vendors, we've been receiving quite a few phone calls from vendors who have not received checks, the payments on invoices, both from our office and from the treasurer's office. I had Amanda, one of my assistants, contact the local post office. They did confirm with her that there is a significant delay in mail going on right now. I don't know the reason behind that, but
COVID.
yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, so there has been, even like a 30-day delay, something that you mail here locally, has been.
I got a Christmas gift in the mail yesterday. It was marked December 23rd.
Wow.
Yeah.
I hope it wasn't perishable.
Well, I haven't opened it, just in case.
So, it's nothing on our end. We do confirm that, payment went out on a specific date, and we just told them to contact the post office, but
But the worst part is we can't verify whether we, no proof that we actually mailed it. I mean, just the vendors, they
Yeah.
the money. I know we had one vendor here, pretty big bill. It was mailed early December, he got it last week,
was that John's?
John's All.
Yeah, and so in cases like that, especially if it's someone who's local, if that particular vendor wishes to request that we reissue payment and they want to come to my office to pick up that, I'm okay with that. If there's been, a 3 to 4 week delay from the time that I know that we send these out. So, and I know Amanda takes them directly to the post office, especially like these commissioner court checks, to get mailed off, so.
I think Mesquite Concrete, it was paid, actually, the check was mailed in November and still ain't got paid.
That one I'm not sure about because I think that one was issued by Ms. Hartle prior to us taking over those payments, so I'll do some research into that. If I need to cancel that check and reissue it, are they local?
Yes.
That I can't verify because that was handled from the treasurer's office.
Post office internet is totally down now. So, I mean, not only you either pay cash or write a check, and when you mail a package, they say, our internet's not working, so we're not really sure when it's gonna go out.
Back in the old days, you remember when you used to could mail a letter before, technology got here and all this rapid stuff? You can mail a letter today, they'd get it tomorrow.
Yeah.
Now, and that would be across the United States. And now you can mail a letter today to the same post office that you're in, and it may be next week before they get it.
Yeah, and you could just put somebody's name and not even have their post office box in the
Yeah.
postmaster. Because it's in there.
Judge, you know what this fence funeral home, is that part of picking up?
The one with Williams and Yarborough,
Yes, sir.
it's one of those pickup and delivery deals, and I don't know why it has two names on it. Unless,
There were probably two deceased on,
yeah,
yeah,
they probably put it all in one bill.
right, that they
Or-
do.
But that's one of those deals, and this is something, I don't know, it's not a big action item, but you've got somebody that's interested in doing the pickups here in Wilson County. And that way they can get them done instead of having to wait 3 hours. And it's just something I'm gonna get a meeting with our auditor and the funeral homes and see where we can go from there. Because right now they're using somebody out of San Antonio. You have a body, whether it's an in-home death or a traffic accident or a homicide, they call San Antonio, and then whenever they get a vehicle they can release to come down here, it's a long wait. I don't know of anybody except Finch, they pick up themselves, their own. But from what I understand, the guy's doing their pickups now, he lives in San Antonio. So he works for them, but he lives in San Antonio, so that doesn't help anything. But that's what, there is. Yeah, we haven't moved yet.
Oh. Sorry.
Motion by Commissioner Fowle,
Second.
second by Commissioner Martin, we approve the bills. Is there any more questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and of course there is no, so that motion carries. And so, at the end of agenda item number 17 at 10:13.